Hello, welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 153. Woohoo! Foehamner is not here today.
Nope.
But we
Said Char
have,
surrounded by women.
We have better people.
Lucky
no, I'm
man.
kidding, Fo. It's not like Fo fucking listens to it anyway. So we have our two favorite guests on at the same time, finally.
Woo!
After like 50 years or something.
I mean, we're like old and have canes and
Yeah.
shit now. It's fine.
Half-Life 3 came out. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's been a while
CaliXenon
Exactly.
and xSingVogelx. Wait.
Hello.
Gotta point it right.
Yep. Just check
There
it
we
because
go.
sometimes OBS is like different.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's up, everybody?
Not too much.
What you
What's
been
up with
doing?
All of y'all.
What you been doing,
Talking to
Sarah?
me.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, games-wise, it's been pretty dry, just because my life is busy. But I did watch Endgame last night.
Woohoo.
Yes, I did.
Did everybody
nice.
watch?
No,
Oh.
I haven't.
I don't know
seen
what
it.
Endgame is.
Avengers.
It's the
Avengers?
Avengers
Oh,
game. If it
yeah,
makes
no,
any,
I have not.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been following Marvel Cinematic Universe for a very long time. I think I have seen actually every single one up to this point. So yes, many tears were shed. It was kind of cool because we were in a packed theater because it was opening night. So everyone was polite, but you got the clapping. So that was really cool with all the things we were all looking forward to. But that's all I will say because I won't give spoilers because I'm not rude. Other than that, I've been watching some stuff. My brother and my partner, I never watched Legend of Korra, despite being a huge Avatar fan. I know. So we finally are getting up to speed on that. So we're getting through that, and I was brought, I think Shar knows this, but I was kind of force-fed Game of Thrones, like, the whole month of March. I pretty much watched, because I'd seen season 1, but I watched all the other seasons in a matter of about 2.5 weeks leading up to the new season. So yes, been watching that, and it's gonna be intense this Sunday, and I'm not looking forward to that, but that's about it.
Force fed, so you're not into it, but you're watching it anyway.
Well, it's okay. I kind of talked about this in the last couple of podcasts, but like I read some of the books. I like the story. It's just that and it's not even that I dislike it at all. I do. It's just it's really intense show for me to binge. We watched season 1 because we had HBO, but then we just never got HBO, and I never really thought to like get it to watch for it myself, really, and so it just never really happened. If I'd watched as it come out, I would have really enjoyed it. And I do enjoy it, it's just that binging it is very exhausting. I don't really these days have very good mental capacity for shows that are like kinda hard and like you don't know what's gonna happen, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, it's not gonna necessarily be like a happy ending, so those kinds of shows
Right.
are a bit more exhausting for me. So it's not that I don't like it, it's just that it's one of those like I'm very glad I am watching it because I actually do think it's really well done. It's just exhausting. If that
It's
makes any
mentally tolling.
sense. Yes,
You gotta
very
be in a
mentally.
mood.
You really, you gotta be in a mood where, like, I haven't really had a work day to my typical social work day, so that's the hard thing.
Yeah, I don't watch it. So I
Neither do
started
I.
reading the books
Yeah.
at one point, and I didn't like them. I don't like his writing style, so
Oh, okay.
I just kind of like didn't really get into it. And I don't know, I'm not really like a TV show person. I want to say like the last TV show drama that I really liked was Dexter, and that was forever ago. So I mean, it's a hit or
No.
miss. I don't like ping people for loving it. I mean,
No, I totally get it. I also am, like, not a TV show person myself. Literally, I've been watching more TV than I have ever in my life, just because we have... Now, because I've moved recently, as you can probably all are seeing my new setup, so I'm in a new home, and I've never really had much, like, access to, you know, Amazon Prime and Netflix and HBO Go like all in one thing, and so now we have all these choices, and it's and so because like my partner and my brother like watching TV, so they'll just have it on, and so that's why I'm kind of like, oh, I'm just a passive observer at this point. So it's a very strange experience for me, especially. So I get it.
So yeah, Vogel, what have you been doing?
Well, and aside from my everyday life, which is very busy, I probably played more Apex than I am comfortable admitting, because I don't really, I don't know, I say I don't really do shooters, and then I play every shooter that comes out, and I'm awful at them. I'm absolutely terrible, but I don't know, there's something about Apex that I just really like. I do.
I've been tempted to try it. I never got into Fortnite or anything or Overwatch, but I'm tempted.
You know, I think the thing that I like about Apex so much is, one, like the diversity of the characters for a shooter. Like it's really cool, like the class systems and like the different roles that each person in the party plays. A lot of people have said that they've met, like, some really toxic people. I have not found but maybe one or two, like, toxic players. And I've got, like, over 200 hours logged into this game already, okay?
Wow.
Like,
Holy.
I'm telling you, like, I've been playing more than I'm comfortable admitting. But...
Hey, no judgment.
But over that amount of time, and maybe about, like, half of that has been played in a full party. So I haven't really encountered like those super toxic, like super game breaking people that just make
That's good.
those kind of games like really unfun.
Do you have a main?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to main Lifeline, but since the battle pass has come out, you kind
She's
of
the
get
medic,
more
right?
rewards for... Yeah, she's the medic. She carries around this little, like, health drone that she drops, and she's kind of like the weeb of the group. She's multi-ethnic, I think. I'm not exactly sure what her background for her ethnicity is, but she has this one little weeb poster that has a little chibi her kicking a little star, and it's adorable. But she's very eccentric. She's like probably the most eccentric character because her skins are very random, and she's drops like her health drone that heals people, and then her ultimate ability is like dropping a lifeline package. So she brings in like a care package that has equipment and everything for everybody else. And I don't know, just I've always kind of been like a support tank main in those kind of games anyway, but I think just her character in and of itself is really interesting. But other than that, there's another character that's Bangalore, that she's like more of an offensive like grenades, heavy artillery kind of character, and I think that she probably would be my second main if I were to pick one. But I kind of play all the characters pretty evenly. I think the battle pass incentivizes that so much that people don't really have a main in this game. So that's another thing I really like about it. I don't know. It's really neat. And for a free game that is like a battle royale type game, I think there's been a lot of thought put into it, and I think that they did really well with its execution. So
They've always been pretty good at making shooters. Titanfall is a good game.
I haven't played it.
Like the gunplay and the mechanics just feels really good.
Yeah.
Too bad they actually, I think they officially announced that they are postponing work on Titanfall 3 to continue working on Apex Legends. Like, it's official now.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
But it's making them money, I understand. Their two past games have not been making money for
Been
them.
super successful. So,
Yeah.
other than that, I just started playing World War Z as well.
Oh.
How is that?
So,
People
I
say
like
it's Left
it.
4 Dead 3 or something.
it is.
Okay.
100% I will agree with that. It's like Killing Floor and Left 4 Dead had a baby, and that is it. because you have all these different classes. Because in Left 4 Dead, of course, you don't really have like the classes. You
No.
have the different characters that you're just put into.
They all work the same.
And you don't have right.
Yeah.
But so like you get put into that character body in that game. So it's kind of like Left 4 Dead in that sense, but you get to actually like level up and build your classes.
I like
so
that.
of course there's different I haven't played enough to know all the different classes. I've played medic. That's the only one I've played so far. But I know there's like a whole different system of classes that can really be expanded upon, and you can build your character class the way you want to because you get to level up each of their abilities and things like that. It's super intricate, and I think that if there were a Left 4 Dead 3, it would be that. Because the campaign style is almost exactly the same, but it's a little bit more intricate, I guess. Have I already said that word? Probably several times.
I think I read that they sold 1 million copies, and everybody's surprised because it's an Epic Games exclusive for now, right?
Yep, I think so.
I really want to play it.
It's good. And only what, $34? I think it was like $35. That's not bad for a game like that. It really isn't. I mean,
can you play single player, like with AI?
Yes, you can. You can play it's the campaign mode on single player. Yes, you can.
So, does it have like different kind of progression? Like there's a class thing and you can level up with skills. So is that a thing that you bring to every game, or is it like a progression that only happens in each match and then you reset to 0 the next match kind of thing?
No, it happens in each game, so you bring it with you throughout the campaigns. So it has a lot of replayability in that sense because you can level up each character, and then when you go into play like higher difficulty levels, you bring all those skills with you. So, and then it also has an entirely different PvP mode as well. So the levels for your campaign mode and the levels for your PvP mode are two completely separate
PvP.
things. There is. And it's really different. It's not like the Left 4 Dead PvP, but there's like several different game modes like Capture the Flag and things like that are interesting in and of itself. I haven't played all of them.
Can you play as the zombies?
You can't.
Aww.
You can't. I don't know if they'll ever add that or not, but that's why I was saying, like, it's not like the Left 4 Dead campaign or PvP where you get to play as zombies and back and forth. There's none of that, so that kind of takes that little piece of calling it Left 4 Dead 3 out. But it's still a good game. I really like it. I want to play more of it. I've only played maybe like 3 or 4 hours so far, so there's still a lot more I need to explore in it.
Cool. I really want to play
Cool.
It's good.
Make your Epic Games account.
I do have one. But just getting the free
do
games.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's makes sense.
So is that it? So is that it?
I think so.
Apex and World War Z.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kelly, what have you been doing?
So let's see. Most recently, I've been playing Conan Exiles, which apparently, like, I've only just started playing it, and everyone says that it's very different from when it was launched, because I noticed in the Steam reviews that it was, like, mostly negative, and then recent reviews were mostly positive. So I was like, okay, they've been doing things to make it better. I'm currently playing on a role-play laid-back PvP server, so it's not like you can just like raid someone's base when they're not there and demolish everything.
Okay.
There's like agreements that have to take place, and the roleplay is even pretty laid back because there's only one channel for roleplay and it's all texting, so you don't have to make up crazy voices or, you know, that kind of a thing. You can just type in characters, so it's super nice for someone like me that's never done roleplay before. And we're building bases over there. And then, let's see, we're using this thing called Age of Calamitous, I think, mod or something. and it's pretty interesting. It's really cool. There's a lot of extra stuff and like building materials and types of buildings that you can make in this that you can't make in the vanilla game, I guess. I don't know. I'm still very new to it. I'm playing it with my boyfriend, and we're both enjoying it. The other game that I'm really into, a complete 180, is a game called Triblues. And I'm pretty sure it's a game for kids, but it's...
No shame.
It's almost like a resource management game. Like, you're presented with a single picture of... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You guys are frozen.
Oh no.
Okay, you're back. You're all back.
Okay. you weren't frozen for us, so.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We're
Okay,
good.
what was the last thing you heard?
Resource
you were
management
about-
game.
Yeah, resource management.
Okay, yeah. So it's like this game for kids, and you start off with like 5 little worker things. Think of like Lemmings, but it's a little bit easier because it's pretty much just like, oh, break down this stockpile of wood, and now we can build a house for more workers to build the sawmill, so we can make more wood, so we can build more houses, so we can harvest wool, so we can make little woolen hats and like climb up the mountain. And it's pretty basic, but it's oddly addictive because it's one of those things that's easy to learn, but not necessarily easy to master. I wouldn't call it difficult to master until like the later levels if you want to get like the perfect rating, because like depending on how much time you take to complete a level, you'll get either bronze, silver, or gold, but you can't run out of time and fail. So it's clearly for kids, but there's enough puzzle elements in it because sometimes you can work yourself into a corner and run out of resources and then not be able to finish the level. So it's like you do have to do a little bit of planning here and there, creative problem solving, and I'm addicted to games like that. So I'm addicted to a children's game. And in fact, after playing the first one, which I don't even remember why it was in my Steam inventory, I'm sure it was like a Humble Bundle or like something that was on sale that I don't know. I don't even know why it was there.
Yep.
But I played it and beat it, and I was like, there's a third one, isn't there? And I went and bought it.
Oh no.
But I think the second one's better. I think the second one's better than the third one. The sound design isn't quite as good, in my opinion. But yeah, so I got addicted to a children's game, and that's been my gaming life.
Good times, good times.
Nice. I've played a couple of things. I've been playing a game called Fist of the North Star. Anybody know what that is?
I'm
I've
familiar
heard
with
of-
that name. It's an anime,
I've heard-
right?
Yeah, it's a really old 80s anime. It's
Yeah.
the character's
There's that guy
based
that
off
goes.
of... Yep, it's that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's-
Okay.
So he's based off of Bruce Lee, so hence the high-pitched voices.
Got it.
Got it.
It's basically Japanese Mad Max. No fuel, no water, it's all desert. But instead of people using guns and shit, it's martial arts, because of course. And
Of course it is.
and the few people who are really good at martial arts can, make you blow up by just poking you in certain spots. So your character is one of those
Of
kind
course.
of... So, and there are really popular memes from it, like he will do some poking and like, you are already dead. And then there's a timer. And after the timer goes down, the guy will just explode. So it's just a meme. It's a really popular and profitable franchise in Japan, though. Manga, animes, and movies, I suppose. But Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, is a action game for the PlayStation 4 made by the Yakuza studio. So it's basically Yakuza with the Fist of the North Star skin, and it's fucking amazing. It's
That sounds amazing.
so
You
it's,
love the Yakuza
Oh, I
games,
love the
so-
Yakuza games, and it's one of the few games from that studio that actually has a English dubbing. So my version, I can choose Japanese or English, because Yakuza is always just Japanese, and the fighting is really fun. You can make people explode. He's really strong and powerful. You can die, but it's pretty it's quite hard unless you fight bosses. There's a ridiculous story. The English dubbing is not as amazing as the old 80s anime, but it's still pretty great. There's a bartending minigame, and the name of the cocktails are just quite ridiculous, and he will say the name of the cocktail while serving it, So the most popular one from this game is called You Are Already Drunk. So it's like it's just it's a game made for memes.
Amazing.
It's such a damn good game.
Uh-oh. Now everybody's frozen. Nope,
I mean,
not everybody.
I've also
I was
been.
gonna say Char's frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure,
There we
You're
go.
back.
congratulations.
Everybody's back.
Yay,
Everybody's back.
okay.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
back. Okay, we're back.
So was the last thing I said? You are already drunk.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a story that's like it's just so good. However, it uses the old Yakuza engine. It doesn't use the new Yakuza engine that was used to make Yakuza Kiwami 2 and Yakuza 6. Because I believe the team that worked on Fist of the North Star is like a junior team, so they wanted to work with the easier engine, is what I read. But it's still really just damn good game overall. I've been watching a Canadian series, TV series called Lost Girl. Yeah, the partner's Canadian, so she's showing me Canadian stuff, right? So Lost Girl
That sounds familiar.
is
Go ahead.
basically Buffy.
Oh.
And it's really good. So
Okay.
it ran for 5 seasons. It started like 2010 or 9, and then in 2015, 5 seasons are all out. And it's basically the main character is this succubus, and she partners with a human character to run like a sort of private eye kind of thing. And there's a bunch of these like mystical like fairy tale creatures all around, and they are all like they chose to join either the light or the dark, and the succubus didn't choose to join any because she thought it was fucking ridiculous, and she didn't know she was a succubus until like at the end of episode 1 or something.
Right.
And it's just great. It's just I love it. It's amazing. If you like Buffy and Supernatural, those kind of stuff, I think it's a really good one to add into the collection, honestly.
So does she kill the like mystical creatures, kind of like Buffy kills the vampires, or
So
like?
there are enemies she goes up against. She tries not to kill, I guess, but sometimes she has to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to kill you, eh?
And
I mean,
she
that's so Canadian.
and she has like she's a succubus, so her powers is to suck you dry while having sex.
Yeah, that's usually what they do. So,
So
I've been
she
told.
gets stronger and she heals by doing the deed, and she learns to like use her powers more efficiently because like she didn't know she was a succubus, so she like accidentally kills people like in the beginning.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah, and
It's kind of like Rogue from
yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah,
X-Men.
X-Men.
I mean, that's kind of
pretty much,
what
yeah,
happens
Yep.
to her first boyfriend.
yeah.
Yes.
And she also like it's also cool because she is bisexual and she gets into a relationship with both a guy and a girl like in throughout the series. So right now I'm on season 3 and she's with a woman, and so I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh.
yeah.
That's So how old is the series? Like, when did it start?
2010.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's not like super old or super new. It's a nice time, and I mean the effects are like kind of it's a TV show. But I watch
what
it for
it
the
is.
the characters and the story, and the characters can be annoying sometimes because they make stupid decisions. Like you have a thing to
Oh,
help you,
yeah.
just fucking stop making all these things for plot. But yeah, go watch it. I'm watching on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if it's available on Netflix, but it should be on Amazon Prime. It's good. It's really good. It's one of those things where I kind of think about only doing after work. I gotta force myself to like play games sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I get it. Trust me. It's been an ongoing problem for me.
Yeah, but it's a good enough series. Splatoon had a Splatfest. It's my first Splatfest. I don't know what the hell is Splatfest, but it's like a 3-day thing where they. In this one, for example, it was for 3 days, and I had to choose to join the hare team or the tortoise team. I chose tortoise, and everybody has like the designated colors instead of like having random colors every time you start a match. And I think I got like items and all that after the event. Splatoon is still like, you know. The big game I played is Detroit.
Nice.
Detroit Become Human?
Detroit Become
Did
Emotional.
you?
Yeah.
Oh man, how
Yep.
was it?
I give David Cage a lot of shit,
Yeah, we all do. I do too.
but I do like his games. And Detroit Become Human is my favorite game from him.
I can see that. I mean, it's. I've been thinking of picking up once it's cheaper. Just because I'm curious about it. I still will make fun of him mercilessly, but his formula, as I said before, his formula finally worked.
It's a damn good game, and the characters and the stories are actually interesting.
Are they actually interesting? That's good. Maybe he finally
To
got
be
some
fair,
writers.
his other games have also been interesting. The story, it kind of just like tails off at the end.
They all have good hooks.
And
they all have.
Detroit
yeah.
also kind of follows that, really good hooks, tails off a little bit at the end, not as hard as like Fahrenheit. Freaking that one's like
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was its own special breed of interesting.
yeah. and
Ooh.
and the funny thing is, so I was just reading about the game when I was playing it, right? And
Yeah.
I think there was like an interview or something, and people were like asking him, "Oh, so Detroit Become Human is like a metaphor about racism, blah blah blah," and he was
Right.
like, "Yes, there's a little bit of that, but it's also about androids being emotional." I'm like, "Son of a bitch, fucking hell, can you stop with the emotion thing?"
He's so obsessed
Jesus
over that.
Christ! But oh my, the
Yikes.
game is so beautiful to look at.
It is
I'm
very
just
pretty.
playing it on a normal PS4, not even a PS4 Pro. And when the thing turned on
Yeah.
and that lady came on to the screen, I'm like, fucking hell, that's CG, that's amazing.
Yeah, he really I gotta give his company credit for this. They really make, for their time,
For the
course,
time,
it
yeah.
really makes the characters pop out.
The environments were really,
really
beautiful
do.
to look at. The character, the facial animations, they were just so best looking in terms of like just animation and facial. I think
Yep.
nothing else beats it. So
Yeah,
far I
the
don't think
mocap's
there's
pretty good.
yeah. The only other game that made me feel the same way in terms of the facial animations was like L.A. Noire. That was like how many years
yeah.
ago?
Oh gosh, right? Yeah, because they used very detailed motion capturing.
I know there's
and
like
they
a lot
do
of
fight games
quite
too.
funny videos on L.A. Noire and their facial animations, but it was pretty
I
good for
know.
the time.
Yeah, well, one thing I have to give Eleanor credit for was, like, and I just never thought about this till I kind of played it, was the faces all have different shapes. And that's just something that I'm not always used to in games, to be honest with you, is everyone's
Yeah.
faces being a different shape,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But that's why they did such extensive motion capturing, because that's how it worked.
So I just want to mention something from Detroit. It's near the end,
Yeah.
but I'm not really spoiling anything. So there's
Okay.
a part where, let's just say the theme was like a rebirth kind of theme.
Okay.
And you have to find like a door. And when I found a door, I was like, why the hell does the door look like a vagina?
Oh no!
And I was
David
like,
Cage,
oh,
why?
Is it a vagina?
it's not an actual vagina, but when
Can you imagine?
when
It's a vagina allegory.
when I was playing that scene, it kind of I think it's supposed to be like something about like reborn, rebirth.
Yeah.
And
I
I was
can
like,
see that.
Yeah.
and I was like in a place looking for a thing to interact with, and I'm like, wait, am I supposed to interact with a vagina-looking thing? Come on,
Come
David
on, man.
Cage.
You're laying a little
Very
thick
subtle,
there.
David Cage. Very subtle.
Very subtle. Yeah, he's subtlety. Subtlety's a strong point.
Hey.
That was a joke.
The only
But yeah.
game I haven't played from David Cage is the one with Ellen Page.
Beyond Two Souls.
Apparently, it's really bad.
It's bad. I only played a little bit of it because I was curious. I borrowed somebody's, and I watched a lot of it. And honestly,
And,
Heavy Rain is better than that one.
And I also read about him having that naked model of Ellen Page, and she was what 16 at the
Yeah.
time. That's kind of creepy, David.
Yeah, super creepy. What's even creepier in some ways is his modelers, animators. I don't know if through his direction or somebody
I'm
else's
sure it's
direction,
through
but,
his direction.
But there's a shower scene in that game
With
of that
very
character.
well placed mists and water.
Yes, very well played mess and whatever. That's fine. But apparently, the modelers did take the time. If you crack into the code, it is a detail full naked model. that
So
they went all out.
A few things I don't want to play. That, and it's just a bad game, so I'm not touching that.
It's not. It's a bad Ghost Trick game. If anyone played Ghost Trick.
Oh, is it? Yeah, you
what
possess like items and stuff, right?
Yes, yeah. Ghost Trick is a DS game. The reason I like it so much is by the same. The original creator was the same as the original creator, Phoenix Wright. So,
Phoenix Wright. I've been playing episode 1.
Phoenix Wright.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been playing episode 1 on the Switch.
Yes.
Nice.
So
I feel like I need to get a Switch now. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, no, Ghost Trick has the same mechanic as the Ellen Page game, Beyond Two Souls, but it did it better. Let's just put it that way.
So there is another game that I've played recently that you made me think about is Layers of Fear.
Oh.
So I just played through that for the first time. I've met the devs a couple of times, and they're amazing. I promised I would play their game. I've been meaning to play their game for a while, and I played Observer, and I really liked Observer, which is by the same studio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Layers of Fear was really, really good, and I know that Callie has played it too. I don't know if either of you have played it.
It's a horror game, right?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It is, but it's like psychological horror.
Yeah.
Is it
it's
like
more of an
Soma?
experience.
Do what?
Is it like Soma?
Is it like? It's like so. I would say it's a little bit like Soma, but you can't die.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's no It's really all like very psychological. You expect like jump scares and things, and I don't think that they overdo that. Like, it is a jump scare game, but there's only like certain parts that are really like, and Callie, feel free to jump in and like add your 2 cents on what I'm saying, or if you've thought of it like in a different way or anything else, because I'm more than welcome to like discuss the whole intricacies.
The way that it struck me is that it's more like an experience. Because I remember in Soma, it's like there definitely are enemies that are out to get you. Whereas Layers of Fear, you're trying to understand your perception of reality from this character's eyes. So it's like, what's real, what's not real, who am I, and what am I doing, and why am I doing this, what happened, what's likely going to happen, because after I played through it like once or twice, I got a little bit obsessed on the lore, and I started doing a bunch of research. So like, if you play it later and you're like, Callie, what did this mean, or what did that mean? Like, I'm happy to kind of give you a TLDR version. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's a little bit of a walk, but it doesn't feel like it. There's enough stuff to interact with, unless you get stuck and can't figure something out, which, I mean, can happen with stuff like that, but I don't think it's that difficult.
So you get stuck because like, you need a thing, but you don't have it?
No.
Yeah, well, I got stuck at one point because I couldn't figure out how to open a door. So...
Yeah, there's tricky things like, oh, you did it this way, but did you try doing it that way? And if you do a little bit of a switcheroo, or you have to look up at the corner of something or look behind something, like there's that kind of stuff you need to like really pay attention.
It's very puzzly.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Is it logical?
Because once again, you're trying to figure out. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
most parts.
Yes, yeah. Most of the puzzles.
I mean, for
are,
as much
are
for a
like
crazy
So you
man.
don't combine like a
puzzles.
firelight and a ladder to make a rocket launcher or something?
No.
Okay.
There's no item combinations, but you can
okay.
find a key and unlock a door.
Right.
Well, there is codes that you have to find. So like,
it's a bit more of a
say
point
that there's a
click.
safe that you need to open. If you look around a little bit and mess with some and touch. Okay, so that's what I really liked about the game, is that you can touch everything. Like, I just went around touch. Let's touch all of the things. And
it's first
you can
person,
open
right?
doors
Do you walk
and
with
drawers.
like your hands
Yes.
in front of you or something? Like just
No, you don't walk with your hands. In fact, you don't see any part of. Well, I guess at sometimes you do see the hand, but at the very beginning of the game, I had no idea who I was playing. You can't see their feet. You can't, like, the person doesn't talk. There wasn't much saying exactly who you were playing as. There is
a
lot
major
of
clue,
clues.
though, if you pay attention.
Oh, man, now I want to like talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, no worries.
But there are certain clues like that will kind of lead you into certain directions. But I thought that I was playing somebody that I had no idea. Like, it didn't end up being the person who initially I thought I was playing as.
Oh,
so
okay.
it was really interesting, and to read all the little pieces of literature that you find throughout the game, like, you can completely miss the stuff. Like, you don't have you can go through the entire game and not touch anything and like still get through the game. There's 3 endings, so doing that leads you to a certain ending, whereas like touching certain items leads you to another ending, and then like if you go a different path or something like that, it leads you to a 3rd ending. So it's really cool. It's very well thought out, and I cannot wait for Layers of Fear 2 that comes out May 28th. So happy. Like, I want to play it. And the original game does have a DLC too that I haven't played. Callie's played it. So I don't have
Which
any
one is it?
like, have you not played the DLC? The one with his
I'm not
daughter.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. So never mind. I lied. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So the game is
But
not
yeah,
coming out
so-
on May 28th.
No, it is. There is a... Well, oh yeah, right. Don't listen to me, yeah. Whatever.
We're still
But it is-
listening. It's all good.
Yeah. Layers of Fear 2 is coming out May 28th.
Nice.
And I'm super excited to play that, as well as the DLC that was released with the first game too. So it's going to be super interesting, I think. I got to play a demo of it at PAX East, so
Oh.
that was
Nice.
yes.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It's definitely up my alley. It's kind of point and
It's-
clicky, which I
Sounds
like.
kind of like Gone Home almost. It's just a bit more horror.
I actually had a lot of reminiscing of Gone Home when I played it. I mean, it looks, and also Edith Finch, it
Oh, yeah, I
looks
love
a
that
lot like Edith Finch as well, and I absolutely loved that game. That is
I've been meaning to play
probably,
that one too.
oh, if you haven't played Edith Finch, like,
It's really
I know.
good.
I think
Really,
it's literally
really
in my
need to
Steam
play it.
library, and I keep forgetting. That's the only problem.
It is a sit down one evening and do it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not it's not long enough to do in like separate segments. I think
Yeah.
I usually take longer to play games than normal,
Yeah.
especially if I stream them, because I'm talking constantly and I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
But I
I
would
getcha.
say like maybe 4 hours.
Got
Maybe
it.
3, like 4 at the tops for
Yeah, got it.
Edith Finch, and it is
The house is
a
amazing.
masterpiece.
It's like a character on its own.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I felt that in Layers of Fear as well, is where the house played such a huge role in pretty much the entire story. So, and it has a lot of like time dimensional rift type stuff too, which is really neat. Yeah, I highly recommend it. And Edith Finch too. Anybody who hasn't played
Honestly,
Edith
when I
Finch,
played Gone Home,
play it.
I looked back
And Gone Home
quite a
was-
few times. I was just
Gone-
expecting a jump
yes.
scare. It was quite scary for a game that's not
Same.
horror.
Same. I think I played Gone Home on a stream I did for One Up on Cancer. I did it for a charity stream. And I was doing the same thing. I was like, this is going to be a jump scare, right? Jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. No, it just ended up being a really amazing story. And like a really, I guess, for such a small game, it was very in-depth, I think, for the amount of time that was like required in the game. It was really good. So
Sounds cool. I actually have it in my library now. Thinking about it.
play it.
News time?
Sure.
News
Sure.
time.
Let's go for it.
Did you guys hear about Disney Plus?
Yes, I have.
So it's Disney's streaming service. They announced the
Yeah.
pricing. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I
haven't
believe
heard.
they're gonna come out. It's gonna come out in the U.S., Canada, and UK first, and then everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's going to be $7 a month or $69 a year, and it's gonna have all the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff, all the Disney stuff, the movies and planned TV shows. There's gonna be TV shows with the movie actors, the Marvel ones. I think Loki will have a TV show.
Loki's having a TV show. Wanda and Vision have a TV show.
Really? Nice. With the movie actors, right?
Yes. Yep. So, I'm actually pretty excited for it. For that price point, I will get a lot of mileage out of it personally, but it is.
There's gonna be also like a Star Wars Bounty Hunter TV show on one of the FETs, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not super familiar about that one, but I would not be surprised. There have been rumors of a potential KOTOR series as well.
Okay, I'm buying it if they do that.
There was basically someone had interviewed one of the oh gosh, what's her name? She's someone involved with the Disney Star Wars stuff, and they asked, are you interested? Have you guys thought about doing Through the Knights of the Old Republic? And she's like, well, we don't really want to talk too much yet, but we are kind of thinking of something in the works, but no details yet. But yeah, there are something in the works. The main thing she had mentioned in that particular line of questioning was how they're trying to be careful not to saturate the market with too much Star Wars stuff so they don't get the Solo effect. So that's the only thing. But yes, we may be getting something related to the Knights of the Old Republic, something in that era, but no other details yet.
And the new Star Wars game just what's it called?
I forgot what it was called.
The trailer came out like a couple days ago. No, a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
about a week or so ago. I'm pumped for it.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, it's going to be made by the same guys who did. It's Respawn, so it's by the same guys who did Apex. So they're going to be making the game, and I'm going to be very curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be
really cool.
Apparently just single player focused.
Yes.
So that's cool.
We'll see if...
And Respawn's single player campaigns on Titanfall are actually really good. They're really good campaigns. Especially Titanfall 2. So that's cool. Disney Plus sounds like a really good competitor to but there's just so many now. Jeez.
There's so many. I mean, DC Universe kind of came out.
The streaming services, yeah. Disney just bought Fox, right? That's like official, right?
Yep. Yeah, they did.
Does Fox have like their own stuff, or like are they just on cable? Do they have their own streaming thing?
Not that I know of. I always thought that they just kind of had their channel and they have their movies.
They own X-Men, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'd like to see an X-Men TV show.
That may be a thing.
Wait, if they have X-Men and Marvel crossover?
Yes. No, well, a lot of people are predicting, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes in phases. We're at the end of phase 2. End of phase 3. End of phase 3. We just ended phase 3. So now we're going into phase 4, phase 5. A lot of people are predicting that phase 5 will be involving the X-Men.
Ooh, Avengers vs. X-Men? That'd be cool.
Well, maybe not versus, but something like that. There's some pretty good speculation about that. So potentially, which is why because the merger or the buyout, I should say, I don't think it's official until some time later, because that's why Fox is doing their Dark Phoenix X-Men out right now, because it's probably the last thing they're gonna be able to do with it.
Yeah, the trailers don't look good for that.
No, I love Sophie Turner, but I mean, I think she'd be great as Jean Grey, but just.
I really hated the last movie, whatever, the Apocalypse one, and I really like the guy who plays Apocalypse. What's his name? He's the new pilot in the new Star Wars movies.
I'm so bad with celebrity names.
Yeah, same.
Oh, lordy. Are you talking about? Oh gosh, he's got like an Italian name, I think.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Guy?
Yeah.
You're talking about Poe, right?
Poe, yeah, Poe.
Yeah, okay, that guy. Yeah. He's handsome.
Yeah. He played a handsome Apocalypse.
I mean, makes sense, right?
Okay, so
I just don't understand how they haven't been able to do like a Marvel X-Men crossover, because X-Men is it's not even a crossover. X-Men is in the Marvel universe. Like,
yes,
they are very saturated in each other in the original comic books. If you look at all of the lore, if you look at the time dimensional rifts and the different strings of reality for both, they're so encumbered in each other. Like the Fox owning X-Men and like Marvel being two separate things has really screwed over both of the like the arcs
Yeah.
that they could have
Yeah.
been doing.
The reason is
So,
because
that's
Marvel was having a lot of financial issues, right? And they started selling
Yeah.
off all their
Yep.
IPs. And that's
Yes.
why Sony
Yeah.
has been gripping the Spider-Man.
Sony has Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
right.
yes, and unfortunately, like, because Marvel was allowed to basically borrow Spider-Man, which is why we got the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies,
Right.
which are amazing, and there's gonna be next one coming out very shortly.
Who's the villain in
but
that
then
one?
That's, it's gonna be Mysterio.
Oh,
I
really?
believe.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw, like, the
Yes.
costume, and it looks
Yeah.
really, like, true to the...
Yep. But what's kind of disappointing because, in my personal opinion, Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. But after this movie, I'm not even sure if we'll be seeing any more Tom Holland Spider-Man because I think Sony gets him back, so I don't know what's going to happen. Which makes me very, very sad.
Okay, but
but
the
yeah.
important question is, when are we gonna get Squirrel Girl?
I know, right?
Squirrel Girl versus Galactus. I watched that.
Versus everyone.
I would watch that, honestly.
Anything. But yeah, no, Marvel had to start kind of selling off its IP, so the ones that were very popular were taken first. Sony got Spider-Man, the X-Men was taken over by Fox, and then Disney went, we're going to take the rest, and went
Yep.
from there. Which, I mean, worked out
Yep.
very well for them, actually.
It's
but-
really scary. Disney owns, like, so much now.
I mean, I just remember
Yeah.
that meme with the Infinity Gauntlet and freaking Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It's
It's not really
this
far
is a
away from the
horrible
truth.
thing. No, it's really not,
Yeah.
and it's horrible. I am anti monopolies, but at the same time, they just they do good
I
things.
think they
though, with
also
them.
own like ABC or some other news stations.
They own-
like they
yeah.
own news
Probably.
They
outlets.
freaking own.
Oh,
And that
a lot.
feels weird for an entertainment industry to own a news
Yes.
outlet.
Mm.
And that's just
Oh,
me.
absolutely. No,
But-
absolutely it is. I am against everything that Disney has done. Unfortunately, I also consume their entertainment like candy.
That's the thing,
I'm
isn't
a
it?
sheep.
Oh,
It's
man,
like,
the dilemmas of
It's
the
like
world
the
right
McDonald's
now.
of the entertainment
it's like trying
industry.
to
You know,
boycott
it's like it
Nestle.
tastes so good,
Yeah.
but it's not
I
that
know
great for
that.
you.
I
I was like,
know.
I'm gonna boycott Nestle, and I go to my fucking supermarket. Nestle. Everything
Yes.
is
Dude,
Nestle.
you don't even understand how much is made by Nestle, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's just
Yeah.
chocolate, right?"
No.
no,
Absolutely not.
They own
They make
everything.
paper plates. They make they make freaking cleaning products. I mean, come on, it's just crazy how much you
They make baby
don't
formula.
realize. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's
That's what they started
That's
it with.
the
Actually.
Yeah.
African
Baby
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you go up the pyramid ladder and look at the parent companies, I mean,
Was it
Coca-Cola is another big one in the United States,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever their parent company is, but it's Coca-Cola line and all that. Yikes! So many
Yeah.
food products. So many
Yeah.
food products.
it's really crazy if you look at it, and it's the same thing with the company that owns Nickelodeon and
Yes.
what is the name of the company? I don't remember.
It's not Time Warner. It's
No.
not Warner Brothers.
It's some weird name, and I want to say Niantic, but that's not it. Niantic is
No.
Pokemon Go
Yes.
and
I
this
was gonna
new
say that's
Harry Potter
Pokemon
thing
Go.
that's going on.
They're tiny.
Oh, by the
and
way,
Ingress.
Niantic's making
Yeah.
that new Harry Potter Pokemon Go thing.
Yep.
That's
yep.
right. They are.
Go reserve your Pokemon Go name, which I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go lately.
Oh, that's funny.
lot.
I
Yeah.
played a bunch at the beginning, then I died down, and then my partner was super into it. So when we started dating, we did a lot more of it. But then my partner stopped doing it, so I kind of stopped doing it myself. So I'll do raids
Yeah.
every once in a while, but that's kind of it these days.
I haven't touched Pokemon Go since 2016, the end
Right.
of 2016.
Yeah.
And for some reason, one of my friends, him and his Viacom, that's it.
Viacom.
Yes,
I
that's
typoed.
right. Yes,
That's
yes,
it,
yes.
Viacom.
That's a
And they
name you
bought-
don't
they
really
have
hear a lot, but they
Neopets,
own
too.
everything.
They
They own
it.
everything. And that's what I'm talking about.
do.
Everybody knows, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
Neopets, all of these other things. But they are all Viacom. And
Yeah.
it is just crazy how many things that they have their hands in.
I know.
But anyway, yes, Viacom is definitely what I was thinking of. But yeah, so I picked up Pokemon Go back up in January, and then just started playing it
Yeah,
nonstop,
I get
and
it.
realized that there's an entire community that still exists.
Yeah, it's
And-
still pretty big.
Yeah, so it gets me out of my
get
house.
It's true. Yeah, it's honestly a bad thing. I definitely got into it in waves. It's like, oh my gosh, every day on my phone I got to, and then like you forget to log on for like 2 days, and then you're like, and you stop for a while, and then you get back into it after a while.
Yeah,
it goes in waves. I get it. I totally get it.
I actually have been consistently like on it since January, and
Nice.
I've met so many people like just in my area. I'm like, oh, you know, I live in a little suburb and they're all old people who don't play games. No, there are so many people in my age range that are still playing games. They watch Twitch. They, you know, they're actively gaming community that I would have never found had it not been for, you know, Pokemon Go, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a toss out to a game that I haven't played since 2016, and now
To
I'm
be
stuck
fair
on
for
it again.
me, it's been freezing over here, so it's also probably why I've stopped playing Pokemon Go, because I bet when it gets summertime, I'll be walking around with it more. I just realized that. It's too cold to go outside right now. At one point we were supposed to get snow again this weekend. So mad. I don't think we are anymore, but we were supposed to. Thank you, Michigan. Anyway.
I
Different
can't
story.
imagine. No.
We had snow, I think, 2 weeks ago. Literally the past 2 weeks, our weather has been like high 50s, almost 60s, then 30s the next day. High 50s, almost 60s, and then to the 40s. Like, it's gone so back and forth, it's dizzying. Anyway, enough about that complaint.
I'm not sure if anybody else is excited for this, but they just announced they're gonna remake 13. Anybody know what that is?
13. Oh my god, from PlayStation 2? That game?
Yep, that cel-shaded first-person shooter.
Okay, I never finished it, but I loved
It was
it, like,
amazing.
for
I
what
love-
it was.
I-
I was like, what is this?
It's such a good
So
game.
basically, for you guys that haven't played it, you're kind of like a secret agent type person. It's like a first-person shooter adventure, but it's more story. Probably something like... Maybe something like GoldenEye, although I never played any... I never
I
played
would say something
GoldenEye.
like that, yeah.
Okay, but it's more
around-
story than like,
yeah.
first-person shooter. But the thing that makes it so
very
interesting
stylized.
is that there's some of the humor is tongue-in-cheek, but as you're playing through levels, it's like a living comic book. So when you're
Yeah.
firing your weapon, there's words on the screen literally going like, ra-da-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, like, and then a guy falls from a ledge and it's like,
and then they will show
like you
the
see
different
the
panels.
A's.
Yeah.
Like you actually...
It's
It's a really stylish,
crazy.
cel-shaded first-person shooter.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
very
beautiful looking.
stylish. I
And they
like
were
it.
just like,
An
we're gonna
Ubi-
remake it.
Ubisoft game.
Yep. I wasn't expecting it. I was just like, I woke up one morning and I was like, just going through Reddit. I was like, 13 is going to be remade. I'm like, what? Where the fuck did this come from? But yay.
What platform did you say?
PS4.
Okay, right on.
November
Is
13th,
Ubisoft
2019.
redoing it too?
Who is making it? I'm looking at the PlayStation blog post about it. It doesn't really say who's making it. Just stay tuned for more information.
It's Disney, I know it. No.
I know
Dun
it.
dun dun! What a
Oh my
twist!
It's Procter and Gamble.
Oh,
Nestle. It's fucking Nestle.
could it be Nestle?
Damn it, Nestle.
Expressly.
Taking our water, now you take our games.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Right.
So yeah, 13. That's a thing apparently, and just came out of nowhere.
Silent.
It's very
Good
stylish.
deal.
Yeah. Hold on. Nintendo or Crunch? Nintendo or Crunch? Crunch. So there's been a lot of news coming out more about developer crunch because, of course. So you know how like the top management of studios were like, crunch is necessary to keep studios afloat, blah blah blah. So Telltale co-founder said the crunch. Telltale was quite infamous for having crunch, right, where they were like doing all the layoffs and stuff.
Oh.
And the co-founder was saying like the crunch was necessary to keep the studio afloat, 80-hour work weeks, blah blah blah. And then Fortnite, huge success. The crunch was necessary because it was making a fuck ton of money. So fuck you, basically. If you work in the video games industry, you gotta crunch regardless if the company is shit or the company is doing well.
There's been, unfortunately, this year especially, I know, I think it was both EA and Epic Games. I thought there was another company, but anyway, record profits.
BioWare, I believe. Maybe.
Well, I just meant the bigger companies,
right.
so like EA, Parent, and I think Epic Games may have been the other one. Anyway, record profits. Oh, no, it was Activision. It was
Activision Blizzard.
Activision and EA.
Yeah.
Record profits, amazing things, all of a sudden a bunch of layoffs.
800 people.
While their CEOs got bonuses.
So, Fortnite
you know.
had crunched because of the huge popularity, and they wanted to cash in on it as much as they can, pretty much.
They mean the
Telltale
upper management?
and Telltale had to crunch to keep the studio afloat, apparently. Didn't work, right?
Yeah.
And now Mortal Kombat Studio also has come out.
Oh, no.
Former developers are speaking out about Mortal Kombat. Because the latest game just came out, MK11.
Yes.
But these developers worked on MK9, MK10, and the Injustice series, which is the DC Mortal Kombat, like the DC fighting game.
Yes.
So they didn't specifically say it, MK11 crunch, but come on now. A lot of the
Yikes.
contracts actually say you can't talk bad about the studio while you're on contract.
Yeah.
So 80 to
Or they have post-mortem contracts too, where you can't like
NDAs,
say
right?
anything up to like 12 months, or I've seen 16-month post-mortem contracts where like you can't say anything, or else you like they can
Sue
like
you
put a
or
lawsuit
something.
against you.
Basically
It's
sue
just
you. Yeah.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Um,
Those kinds of things where the no competes after you've like left the company just disgust me.
Yeah. So there was a
I mean,
guy
I
that
get it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But
I get to a certain extent, but
so
people gotta eat.
there was a guy that
Yeah.
was talking about how from like an entire year's work, he only had one day off, which was on his birthday, and it was on a Sunday. So
oh my god.
and they literally work every day. They don't even get
Nice.
weekends off. This guy went to his best friend's wedding on a Saturday. He could only go after working an 8-hour shift on a Saturday.
Jeez.
And
I
there's just a bunch more stories. And the problem is a lot of these top management, when they talk about crunch, whenever they're in an interview and the interviewer, I mean, it's face to face, you can't like run away, right? So they will
Right,
say stuff like, "Oh, we don't force them to crunch. It's just if you show passion for your work, we're not pointing a gun to your head." But that's like,
yeah.
you don't point a gun to your head, but you also don't renew contracts. You don't promote people who
Right.
don't crunch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you can point the gun without actually pointing the gun. So,
Exactly. You can just leave it on the table. They don't have to point at their head.
and they just go with the super
Exactly.
extreme, like pointing a gun to your head to make it like, oh, that's not too bad. There were no guns
Yeah.
to my head. I'm like,
And then you get blackballed from the industry
Exactly,
if you don't
yeah.
like comply
So
it's
with
not
all
just-
of these unreasonable
so not just losing your
bullshit
job
that they
at the
ask you to
current
do,
place, you might not get a
You
job
lose
at
your career.
Yeah, unless you
Yeah.
go with like indies who are not
Yeah.
exactly financially sound.
Unionize!
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Not that
Hot
we
there.
don't love indies. Like,
it's a risk.
No, we
yay,
do, but-
indie developers, go forth and like
Yeah.
put your content out. But when you have bills to pay,
And families
losing
to
a
feed.
job,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. The whole idea of the company is that, I mean, in some ways you're almost kind of that sounds a little bit weird, but the whole point you would think of a company is you're kind of sacrificing a bit of the creativity for the security of the job, you
Yeah.
know? But then there's no security. What's the point?
yeah.
It's maddening. It's mad. Like like I love video games, but the industry just makes me so mad sometimes with stuff like this.
I've had to my first like full-time job was a bartender, and I had to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and I was fucked for a couple of years after that.
I can't, like, I kind of have to applaud people that can actually even do things like that, because I know I couldn't. Like, I genuinely could not do something like that. I would probably quit within the first week. I know my body, I know my mind. I honestly, unfortunately, can barely even do like a 40
Only reason I could do it
listen,
was because I was
bad.
like 21. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna do it now when I'm like 20. I'm 30. I'm not 20 anymore, but holy shit.
But yeah,
Also,
exactly.
regarding the Mortal Kombat one, the article was on PC Gamer, and not just about crunch. They also talked about how the top management had special little nicknames for all the women employees, and
Oh yeah, no, I heard about that.
and also like how
Yeah.
junior level people get paid $12 per hour, and some women got $11 per hour for like the same position.
Yep.
And this, people, is the day and age that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We're not even talking about
Unfortunately.
Riot, which Riot
Yeah.
has its own
Yeah.
special
Oh,
plans.
There was a thing about Riot, like just recently I saw
There was. I just spoke about it today, actually.
about them
so
trying to block
Riot-
people from suing or something, right?
They're basic. So what it is so they have a bunch of lawsuits right now by former and current female employees. Surprise. 2 of them, they are trying to basically push back and say they are not allowed to sue because they had the arbitration clause when they signed on. So some companies have, and I'm not a legal person, so someone might be able to explain this better than I can, but some companies they're trying to get away from this because there's so much backlash against it, where basically when you sign on to a company, you sign on to a thing that basically says, like, you can't file a lawsuit against that company, you have to go through a private arbitrator for any issues, which
Or a
doesn't-
mediator.
Yeah, basically. And it
Yeah.
really doesn't help the employee out at all. There's no jury involved. I'm not even sure if there's an actual judge involved. It's a really gross affair. So Riot basically tried to be like, okay, well, 2 of those lawsuits you don't get to do because you signed a thing that said that you'd have to go through a private arbitrator. And it's just like, Riot, you've had so much, like, bad crap going on right now with all of this. You've handled this so poorly. You're really going to put your foot down on this right now? But they are. Oh, they are.
So if you think of civil suits, an arbitrator is like a step lower than a civil suit. So even if like people were to take them to court, it most likely wouldn't endure a jury anyway because it's like a civil suit, right?
Fair enough.
So
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
in order to do an arbitrator, it's like it's all on the person to hire the arbitrator to actually put the civil suit into action. So not only are these people being discriminated against, they also have to use their own time, their own money to hire somebody to do this lawsuit that has like a 75% chance of not going through. So
Right.
that's like it is so like ass backwards on how the law system is supposed to work, right? You're supposed to protect the people who can't
The small
actually
guys.
afford, and yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And you don't even get a lawyer in an arbitration at all. You just
Got it,
have the
got it.
arbitrator or a mediator that like does the suit, and then it's really, really just fucked up is what it is.
Yeah, it's
So-
horrible. It's just a way for companies to try to give themselves that extra protection because
Yeah.
they need that. So it's just a really shitty move that they're gonna. I'm sure they had that clause in there, but the fact that they've decided to put that down, be like, okay, 2 of these lawsuits you can't do, is just disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys want to hear about one more thing that's pretty disgusting?
All right, go ahead.
Why not?
Okay,
Bring it
so
on.
Bad mood.
so there's an app called Ovia. Anybody know what this is?
I don't know that.
It's a
What is
I don't like it already.
yeah, it's
I
a
know, it sounds bad.
it's a pregnancy tracking app.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
that sounds
so-
about right.
An ovulation tracking thing.
I guess
yeah, I was
so.
about to say ovia ovulation. Okay, yeah. that's- okay.
So you put in like your your vitals and
Your cycle
Yeah,
and
all the
Your
kind of
cycle and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
So they have, I think people can just download the free version and use it like a tracking app. But there's also a premium version that is sold to companies, and companies then will. Okay, so for this particular example, the company is Activision Blizzard because of course. So
Of course it
Activision
is.
Blizzard, like they signed a contract, bought the premium version of the Ovia app. So what they do is Activision then offers this app to their employees. So basically telling the employees, if you use this app to track your pregnancy, like actual pregnancy, the baby is in the oven already, you will get a $1 a day in gift cards kind of thing. And we will get your pregnancy data. And the employers were talking about the data and the women that are pregnant, like we want to know if the pregnancy is affecting their job and work and stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of fucking
That's
It's almost
that
borderline illegal.
It's
And
not.
apparently-
though.
It's not.
Apparently it's
but
not.
It's just.
It should be. It should be.
It's just one of those things where there's like, oh, there's not a gun to your head. Is it like
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
strongly suggested
Yep.
for you to?
Yep.
To do this, they can get this information and then.
Especially
be
if
able
you're
to-
like a woman in an already like industry that is, not exactly very accepting and
friendly
welcoming.
to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Plus you have this thing that you apparently can choose to do or not to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a step more of the fitness trackers, right? Because some companies
Right.
will offer their employees Fitbits or
Yes.
incentives for working out or losing weight, which is
it helps the
on
company
the outside
in
it
the
looks really cool. But yes, it's all it isn't employee centric at all, like people think it is. Like, oh yeah, we get these incentives for paying for a $15 membership to the gym that I never use. I might as well just walk
Yeah.
outside my door. Or people will binge like fast before those weight checks every week so that they lose a little bit of weight and then they still get the incentives from it. But the companies are still tracking data and essentially like, yeah, okay, if your employees are healthier, then you don't have to pay as much in insurance, things like that.
Right.
But they can also like deny benefits based on that kind of stuff depending on the contract. Like they can offer you certain plans based on like how healthy you are or how like yeah. And it's legal because if you sign something that says that you consent to whatever they're doing, then
Right. then
like
yes,
what are they going to do?
Right,
But
it goes.
I like the pregnancy thing is just 100% over the top because we already get like discriminated against for being, I mean, pregnant women have an extremely higher percentage of not being hired and being unemployed anyways because there is this misconception that pregnant women will take a job and then leave the job as soon as they have the baby. And that's not necessarily true. If you treat them like shit, then yeah, I mean,
yes, they will leave.
they're going to leave the job because you're treating them like shit. But it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Sorry, I can get on my high horse about this like all day.
it seems like
gross.
it seems like the surprise Pikachu face is made for top management.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
It really
surprised
is.
at treating people like shit and the
Yeah.
outcome of it.
Yeah. And it just,
Why are people mad?
I don't know. Maybe it's big. No, no.
So
Oh, but all these men are not mad about what we're doing. Oh,
I know.
yeah. I wonder fucking why.
all this non-pregnant men,
75% of-
they're not mad.
all these non-pregnant men.
75% of our company seem to think this is fine.
This is okay, so we're gonna keep doing it.
Oh, lordy.
So Nintendo, so their Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just came out with an update recently then that lets you create your own stages.
Ooh.
And they have been removing what is deemed inappropriate stages. Some of them are dicks. Okay, just dick stages, legit just dicks. And some of them are stages with the trans flag and like LGBT flags and stuff. Those are also
That they're
getting removed.
removing?
Yeah.
All right, Nintendo. Yikes. Okay.
So yeah,
I don't know what to say about that one.
I have no idea.
I seriously, like, that just blows my mind that they would do that.
Nintendo is like Disney, family friendly. It's just their thing. And apparently,
Why is trans not family friendly?
No idea.
Trans people have families too.
Apparently-
I mean,
No.
apparently
What the
Japanese
act-
people don't think so.
oh my god.
All Japanese
just-
people.
Yep. Yikes. Well, that's disappointing.
Congratulations. You have now, like, killed part of your population of your game.
I know. Be one thing if it was, obviously people being like transphobic kind of thing.
Right, or
it's not,
like
yeah.
crude. Something crude,
Yes.
something
Yes.
obscene is different
Like
than
the dicks,
having
I understand.
a square of colors.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Squares of colors are so offensive.
Like,
what?
Are you serious? Okay, this particular like matching of blue and pink is offensive to me.
They also
fuck?
they also don't just get removed. The people who created it will also get banned for like a couple of days or something like that. Like,
All right, I'm gonna go
Jeez.
like make this right now on my Switch. I'm gonna like turn on my Switch that I haven't turned on in like a month, and I'm gonna go make this just so that I can fucking do it and then piss them off. Okay? Like,
keep doing
what
it
are they
so
gonna
it's like
ban my
a
shirt?
lifetime.
Is this the right appropriate color of mix
They
here?
have
That
better
are
things
they
to
gonna
do with
ban
their
me?
time. Like,
Yeah.
aren't there other like projects they could be spending that manpower on other than like
pretty much.
this is
Probably.
bizarre.
I can't. Like, that just.
So
How many flags do they know though? Like, if I did the gender fluid flag, will they know that one? How many
Right, or
also
the bi
the,
flag,
also
or
all the stages with the trans flag have the name trans in the name of the stage, so I think it's very easy for them to just type in.
to identify.
Yeah. But also now
totally
because they
gonna
know
make a
what the flag
stage.
looks like, probably.
They should name it like trains, but like with the asterisk between the I, so it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
trains.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
I love it. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
break
be
the system.
experimenting now.
yeah.
or
Report us back to us.
TR4NS.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, experiment and report
Lead
back
speak.
to us. How many flags can you do before they don't realize what they are?
I wonder what
Can
would
I
happen
make-
if I put
Oh.
like a state flag of some kind, or like a different country flag. It's like
Just the French flag.
The Texas flag. They have problems with Texas people. I don't know. Like,
Oh no.
that's
Alright.
just though.
The experiment shall begin.
So last bit of news from me. The PlayStation 5, a bunch of things were just announced about it.
Yes. It's not gonna come out anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not
but
gonna come out
it's
I don't even have a PS4, so I.
So the PlayStation 5 will be PlayStation 4 backwards compatible, which is really cool.
good.
It's exciting.
Because
What about the rest of them?
nah,
Oh.
it will also include
sad.
SSD storage, so your games will just freaking load really quickly. So
That
Nice.
solid state.
I
drive.
believe what they did to test it out, like they showed a demo or something, is the fast travel in Spider-Man took 15 seconds on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it took like
Yes.
3 seconds on like the PlayStation 5.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep. I know the future is here. That they have been saying. Obviously, there's no way this can be true, but I like the idea. They want to try to, as much as possible, eliminate loading screens.
You know,
Kind
the
of their
thing about it
goal.
is like they have the technology to do that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I literally have a Sony SSD in my laptop that I put in, and why couldn't they put those into gaming systems
To
already?
reduce the price.
Yeah, reduce
That's
That's
price,
the only
but-
thing I can
and-
think of.
And so that they can keep selling more to people who already have a system, right?
Mm.
Like,
Or you get more
if you
creative.
make something, yeah, but I mean, like, if you make something that already has
If you make the
state of the
perfect
art
thing.
like hardware, then you're never gonna sell another one, right? Like
Yeah.
that was the problem with the Dreamcast too, is that it was so above its time and it could do so many different things that people didn't see the value of it when it came out because nobody knew about the kind of things it could do. I mean, it could have it could hold MP3s before people even knew what MP3s were. So like that was a downfall of the Dreamcast, but I just find it super interesting like how quickly these new systems are coming out with this hardware that is like, oh, it's so like state of the art and I can't wait till we don't have loading screens. We don't have these loading screens on our computers now that are using Sony technology. Like, I don't know.
But it's okay. They're just gonna follow the Apple logic, and after 2 years, it's just gonna break on you.
Oh yeah. There you go.
It'll be fine.
That just, 2-year warranty. years and 2 days later.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
There are so many people saying how their shit break right after the warranty that I don't think it's coincidence, honestly.
It's
not.
I mean,
And I'm sure
Apple
you guys
got
have realized how
sued
that's
for
bled
it.
over into the car industry too.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think the car industry did it first, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Well, I
probably.
heard a story, and I mean, okay, so this is, I think I heard this from my father, and he usually carefully researches things. He doesn't necessarily make stuff up or go out on a limb, or if he does, he says so specifically, like, well, this is all theory, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a guy at a meeting with his car company talking about, like, how we're going to sell more cars. And then the guy was like, well, I have this Apple iPod, and every year, 2 years, well, actually 2 years is a bit much, I'm buying a new pair of AirPods or whatever to listen to the music, or I'm buying a new iPod every couple of years. And I do it consistently without even really thinking about it. I just buy another one when it breaks. I don't get upset and buy something else. So we're going to start doing what Apple is doing. We're just going to have a planned failure that happens in the vehicle. And then enough of them build up over time that of course aren't like life-threatening. But it's like, gosh, a bunch of my electrical system is failing. I guess it's time for a new car.
Yep.
Windows stop working, or like the radio doesn't work quite right. I mean, you name it. Like just all these different
Yeah, it's just
functionalities just go
something.
bleh, and I guess I'll just buy a new car. I'm not even done paying this one off, but oh well.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Unfortunately,
phones are like a few
Yeah.
$100, and cars are like
It's way more
like
expensive.
you got
And
you're
have
taking out
insurance.
loans, for fuck's sakes.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, nothing much else. New details on Fire Emblem Three Houses came out, stories and characters and systems.
Oh, I didn't actually hear about this, and I should have.
I don't think they talked about any incest, so I'm not sure, Sarah.
Damn it! Don't go there. No, don't start this. It was a running gag accidentally for 2 games. Don't you start it.
I thought it's a series regular. Okay, so
No.
it's a series staple.
Shut up.
Uh,
That was 1 game, and I thought it was going to be another game. Then it ended up, and then it was actually kind of a 3rd game. Listen, maybe it was like 2 Fire Emblem games I was afraid it was going to happen in.
a trailer
That's okay.
announcement trailer came out for Planet Zoo, so Zoo Tycoon kind of thing, made by the
Nice.
God damn it, what's that roller coaster game?
Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No.
Or
The-
Planet Coaster.
Yes, Planet Coaster. Yeah, they're making Planet Zoo. That's about it. Anything you want to bring up? Anybody? If not, we can stop here.
Was there anything oh, this is not super, like, this is just another, like, I'm going to be angry at this, but it's
Oh,
whatever.
Persona 5. Oh shit, I totally forgot about that. Oh shit.
I'm so
When you said
mad.
angry, I was like,
I'm
oh yeah,
so
Persona
mad.
5. Forgot about
I'm
that.
so mad about this. I'm so mad. I'll keep this really brief because I've been telling this story a lot of times. So I haven't gotten super involved with the Persona series in general. I actually played Persona 1 for a little bit. It's very hard.
Very hard, yeah.
The PSP remake. It's very hard. I kind of played with my brother Persona 4 Golden and stuff like that. I never got a chance to do Persona 3, which I really kind of wanted to, but just didn't get a chance to. Persona 5, part of the reason I kind of didn't play it was I was kind of doing my own personal kind of block on it, just because so one of my main grief points with the Persona series is the fact that these are a game series where you have a protagonist that can do romance options with only female, but that's like it. You don't get to choose your gender, and you don't get to, like, there's no other options, and it's kind of annoying because it's not even like the character you play in the Persona games has any real character at all.
Pretty much like a
You know, they're
voiceless
very-
protagonist.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too kind of thing. So you have this really bland character that's just a heterosexual male that you have no choice about. And the other reason that it makes me mad is because Persona 3, they did do like a kind of a remake where they added a female protagonist,
Yeah.
but it was really kind of sloppily done.
Can you romance the guys in that?
You can.
Oh, okay.
You can. But
Only
they're
the guys,
kinda-
right? I'm guessing.
Only the guys. Yeah, only the guys. But
Okay.
it's very... The problem was that you could tell that they had no intention of doing this at first, and so it's very... There really is only one actual feasible male option in Persona 3. Because the other one goes into a coma, spoiler alert, which if you romance him, he doesn't die otherwise. And the third option is a 10-year-old boy. So...
Is it a 10-year-old boy who's secretly a 1,000-year-old dragon?
No, he's a 10-year-old boy.
Okay.
The whole romance is just that you have to build your courage up so that you'll be like, well, someday we'll be together. I'm not joking. This is a thing. Anyway, so...
Holy shit, that's...
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
I'm comfortable right now.
It's Sleeping Beauty all over again.
So anyway, that's Persona 3. We're on Persona 5. So what made me... The reason I kind of, like, blocked Persona 5, even though it's a fantastic game from what I've seen, is because when Persona 4 came out, people asked, like, the creator, hey, would you ever consider having, a playable female protagonist? And what he said was, well, I could imagine for Persona 3, but I just can't imagine making the main character female with that storyline in Persona 4, which makes absolutely no sense at all if you know the story of Persona 4. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's just like, so I kind of threw my hands up in the air. I thought that was ridiculous. So, Persona 5 comes out, same old deal. You have your basically characterless male straight protagonist that goes through. Okay, fine, whatever. Then it was announced, because they do these kind of remakes, and add extra content. They announced Persona 5 The Royal. And so a ton of, because there was this
Like just a couple
video.
days ago.
Yeah. There's a video that was like showing this new female person. So people are like,
Oh, protagonist.
female playable character? Yeah, and so people were getting kind of excited, like, oh, female playable character. Finally, they announced that, nope, she's just a new female.
New romance option.
Main
Waifu.
character.
She's a
New
waifu.
waifu, yeah.
She's a new waifu.
New waifu.
And there's an ex. They have some other additions to the game, but it's basically a new waifu. That's all. No new playable
Not that I don't
character.
like my waifus. Like, I like my waifus.
Listen,
but,
I love my waifus too.
but-
I love my husband. Yes, exactly. Listen, if they were like, listen, we don't know how to make male romances, so here's your female character, but she's gay, I'd be fine with that too. But they're not even
Right.
doing that for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's where I got really mad.
Hire women
Yeah.
developers. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Anyway, okay, let me calm down for just a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit,
if
'cause
Dream Daddy could do it, they can do it.
I know. Okay,
Like-
so here's where it gets bad. So Persona 5 The Royal comes out, it turns out, nope, just a new waifu. And then I was told by Char, actually, well, Sarah, there's another kind of Persona 5 thing they're doing called Persona 5S. Let's wait to hear what that is.
So Persona 5S was announced the day after Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
So Persona
And
5S, everybody
It's Persona 5 Scramble.
everybody
It's
thought
a
it was
Musou
Persona
game.
5 Switch, but it's
Switch.
a Warriors game instead.
Persona 5 Dynasty Warriors game, which, here's the sad part, is I actually love Dynasty Warriors games, so I actually would probably play this,
Yep.
but I'm still really mad. I've been raging
So
about this
basically-
for like a week.
Oh my god.
They knew what people wanted and just fuck you, basically.
And that's what's so frustrating. Like, what's actually been really funny was, so Char had linked me to, there was a kind of a thing that was, because as some people may know, the Persona 5 main character known as Joker, because you get to name him, because of course you can name him. Anyway, is going to be in Smash. He's going to be a new character in Smash.
Yep.
Some people had kind of cracked the code, and they found evidence that there's potentially a female costume. So that's why some people were even more like, oh, maybe, no. But it's just so funny because Char had linked me to the Reddit article about that, and it was kind of interesting because a lot of people were theorizing, this was 2 months ago, about, female protagonist maybe, and it was so funny, because I'm like, I'm so glad we've come this far, because every single time there would be some stupid post of some person being like, no, they can't have a female playable character, that wouldn't make any sense. For every single post of that, there was always someone else going, you're stupid. Yes, they could. It'd be very easy. Stop it. So,
oh my gosh.
The one thing I can at least take home from this is almost everyone is just as disappointed as I am.
Whenever I can't, it blows my mind how many like content creation studios and development studios hear the words that their fans are saying, and they just say, "Fuck you.
No,
We don't care. We don't care." And
Yeah.
I don't know. And apparently it doesn't make that much difference that they say I don't care, because all of these companies that are doing this are still successful.
Yeah,
and they
because-
aren't seeing any repercussions from
Like
it.
Sarah said, she's
No.
gonna probably play Persona 5 Scramble,
that's what I'm
which is a
saying,
Warriors
like-
game.
Playing the Musa.
I will probably get the Royal
Yeah.
Edition because I love Persona 5, so...
Yeah.
But that's what makes me
Yeah.
so mad, because I was like, Persona 5 looks really awesome.
It's a really
I would
good
want
game,
to play it,
but
but I'm so mad right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is so maddening. It's not.
They-
It's just. Especially in this day
Yeah.
and age of like customizable characters like the Fire Emblem games, like it's
I think we
so
should just,
easy.
when it comes to Japan and Japanese studios, we should not like expect anything. Expect good games, but that's it. Like, don't expect anything else.
But it's not even a Japanese thing. It really just depends on the company. Because like I said, the Fire Emblem games, they figured this out. They were like, yeah, let's do this. You
That
know,
is true.
Because the games, the games before, because I didn't play much of the old Fire Emblem games. I got really into Fire Emblem Awakenings, like the newer ones. But like in the old games, you were kind of the tactician, you as the player, while on the game you kind of played around with the characters. So that wasn't a big deal. They all had their own characters and personalities. Then the new games came where basically you created your tactician character, but you got to choose your gender and how you looked because it didn't matter. So
Yeah.
they figured it out. Persona, like, this isn't that hard. There's nothing. Why? It just, other than the fact that they just can't imagine your leader being anyone but a guy, it blows my mind. And I don't know. And I think part of it too is I think a lot of the Persona games get kind of lazy of how they treat their like female versus their male characters. I think they're great characters, but I've noticed that like I think part of the reason they feel like they can't do a female character is because kind of like what happened with Persona 3, they just can't foresee the male romance options working out with how they've set up the characters. So, and a headbang in a sock.
That's unfortunate.
That could also be a lot of like ingrained tradition from like not that it's excusing it or saying like, oh
Right.
well they can't
Yes.
because blah, but I could see, because I don't know why this specific game popped into my head, but I was like, what if there was a female Link, like playing Legend of Zelda as but Link female, and I was
Right,
like,
playing as Zelda.
huh. Or
Yeah,
or
Why
or
can't
that
we play as Zelda? Like,
that too.
Yeah.
So, and I thought about that for a moment, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'd really care because I just want good puzzles to solve, honestly.
Right.
But
I think so I completely agree with you. I think what makes Persona super maddening is it's very relationship focused. It's very character driven relationship focused. There's a battle sequence and stuff, but like 50%, I mean, Shar, you can attest this, almost like 65% of the game is forming bonds and connections with other characters.
Yep.
it's a dating sim.
Yep.
It basically
It's a
has
dating
to
sim
It
with
is.
combat.
It's a dating sim with combat.
Yeah.
It is 100%.
So that's why it's especially maddening, because like I totally understand, like, because that's why I'm not really up in arms say like, why can't we have a female Link or play as Zelda? Like I think that would still be cool, but but for me, like, that's what makes this so maddening. Like, you just literally made a shell of a character for us to input ourselves to, except it's just a heterosexual male that I'm playing. I have no choice in the matter.
And
But
also
you're telling
the,
me this is like me.
Persona games, they make new ones every time. It's not like a historic. It's not like where Link is the hero in every game. So that one I kind of get it, right? But Persona is
Yeah.
just like every time a new Persona comes out, it's like a new story, new characters. So they make everything from scratch, anyways. So I mean,
Yes.
it's much easier to
They're
put
very
in like
tenuously tied.
diverse characters in it if they want to, but they
Yeah,
don't. So
They just
oh yeah, and
don't.
then in that case, it should be a lot easier.
yeah.
That's what's so maddening about it. It really should not be that cognitively difficult, but
And,
they
I
just
mean,
haven't.
It wouldn't be difficult in terms of animation. They animate female characters all the time in those Persona games as well.
Right.
So because
Yeah.
companies have used that excuse before about
They have.
it's difficult to animate female
Assassin's
characters.
Creed.
Was it Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
I thought it was Battlefield.
It was Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed?
It was
Ah.
it was the Assassin's Creed multiplayer game, basically.
It was like
I think
one of the
something like
older
that.
ones, right? One of the pretty early
yeah,
ones.
yeah. It was a pretty rotten
Which is
excuse.
kind of weird
But
because
yeah,
everybody loves Odyssey and everybody loves the what's her name?
the female character. Yeah.
The female character is canon.
Yeah.
Like she is the
Yeah,
main.
yeah, yeah.
You can choose either her or the
Yeah.
brother, but the female one is canon.
Yeah, I will say to attest to what you're saying, Callie. I think unfortunately there is a kind of a traditional mindset
It is,
because
yeah.
it is such a like the games kind of all play a bit of the harem anime tropes a lot. So I think that also has a lot to, like, we have our female harem, tropes as well, and that there are anime that are female harems.
Like
but
a reverse
those
harem
tropes,
kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
reverse harems. I'll
Yeah.
just say reverse harems. Your reverse harems have different tropes than your traditional harems, but these Persona games play like more the traditional harems, and so I don't think it makes any sense. I think they still could very easily do that, but I would not be surprised if in their brains and their writing brains they can't break away from that, if that makes any sense.
Like,
I still
the
don't think it's
reverse
excused,
harem
but
thing is like a taboo that we can't touch because this is just how it is. And there's no other excuse to it because that's how it is. Yeah.
Right. So it's just it just makes me mad. It just really makes me mad. But yeah. So to that I agree with you, Callie, but it's even simpler than blah, blah.
Yeah.
Although, funny thing, your outrage, it reminded me of a different game that I had played more recently called Hustle Cat, which is like, I'm going to preface it by saying it's a dating sim. It was, I think, a very small development team of like 5 people or less, because I watched the credits and counted it, because I was like, this is definitely like a lower budget
what is it called?
thing. Hustle Cat.
Hustle Cat.
Yeah. Yeah, Hustle Cat.
looking
Like,
it
you're
up.
working at a cat cafe and everyone's under a curse.
Oh, I think I've seen this one.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like the previews, I feel are a little misleading. Like, you can almost tell that all the different like the whole dating sim was almost written so that you could date one person. Like, that's what it felt like the writer was going for, which, I mean, I can understand because it wasn't a team of writers, so you didn't have multiple perspectives. And this also seems like it's probably one of the only games that they've made as a company, as it were, or like as an individual or small group. So like, I don't want to rag on them too hard, but the point that I nearly died laughing, because there were also some other frustrating parts, like drama for the sake of drama, where people would just like have a miscommunication for the sake of a plot point. Because it all followed a pretty simple routine of like, okay, so first you put in your points for who you're going to end up with, and then there's this major plot point that everyone is just kind of like, and you just kind of grind through all of them. Which, I said, smaller development team, not much you can really do about that unless you really drag out the development time. But everyone has like these magical powers. Like, one person can control fire, the evil guy like turns things into rust, and then another one can like change metal, and another one can like make drawings or can like rip through time and space. And then
it's intense. And then there's cats.
Then this one of them is like a social media queen or whatever, and like her ability is hashtags. I'm not making this up. She like
No, this is true.
There's a confrontation with this kind of unrealistic villain, in my opinion. It just seems stilted. Like, I know that there's psychos out there, but the way that they wrote this psycho was like, but basically they were like, hashtag, block, and then like they were powerless all of a sudden, and then hashtag reported, and the police like instantly show up and arrest him and haul him to jail, and I'm like, that's not how this works.
That's the most powerful ability ever. No,
I know. I'm just like, this is rife for abuse right here.
I was watching. There was one of my favorite Let's Players was playing through this game, so that's why I'm super familiar with it. She didn't finish it though, which makes me mad. But yes.
Well, I played everything. I went for every ending. I dated every single possible character. But that's how I started to notice that there were a lot of repeating things, and some of the characters didn't feel as fleshed out as others. But I mean, like I say, it's very small dev team, and I think it's well done for who all put into it.
And the one thing that game does, I think you might be leading up to, is at the beginning of the game, you kind of get your choice of your character can either have super short hair or kind of longish hair. And they have like 3 different skin tones, and then you get to choose your pronouns: she, he, or they. And the reason, what was really awesome, is that the CGs, because it's a visual novel, so they have CGs, because they had such simple, different character design looks. They just were kind of able to like really easily put them in. So whichever character model you picked, because they were so simple, they appeared on the CG. And so did your pronouns all the time. And so that I thought was super cool. And it worked out really well. And I have never seen any other kind of visual novel that does anything like that, which I thought was super cool.
I like
So, yeah,
how
they could do
when I
it.
go to the Hustle Cat Steam page, friends who owns it,
Yeah.
CaliXenon.
I've been meaning actually to kind of look into it myself, just to play for my own sake, even though I've already seen. half
Okay,
of
so
the
I did not know this, but you guys heard of the game Rivals of Ether? Ether. It's like a indie Smash Bros clone kind of thing.
I feel like I've heard of it. It's like AETH.
Yeah,
right?
AETHER.
Yeah.
It's
so,
pretty popular and like gotten a lot of good reviews.
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought it up is because the same developer made a free-to-play dating sim called Lovers of Ether, which use the same animal characters, I'm guessing, and it's like, and one of the tags is psychological horror.
Oh no.
Maybe that's where I actually heard of it from, is the dating sim one and not the Smash-esque.
Oh, it's free to play, overwhelmingly positive. I think it's a,
Huh.
it's free, so.
Must go add this to my library now.
So yeah, you guys want to wrap up?
Yeah, I'm good with wrapping up. I think I got my rage out.
Sarah, why don't you go first?
All right, I'll go first. I'm Sarahscopic, Sarahscopic. I will someday be on YouTube and Twitch again, but you can also hit me up on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also hear me on Checkpoint XP. I do the news and social media segments. You can go to Checkpoint XP on Twitch on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Say hi to me. I am also part through Checkpoint XP, Not Your Player 2 podcast, where we talk about women, video games, and all that kind of cool stuff. And that is also on Twitch on Checkpoint XP on 4 p.m. Eastern every Friday. So hit me up and say hi.
XSingVogelx, where can people find you?
Yes. You can find me on Twitch and on Twitter at xSingVogelx. So that's XSingVogelx. Twitch and Twitter, same thing. So that's where you can find me. Not as active streaming right now as I have been in the past, but I still stream, and you'll find me playing Layers of Fear 2 whenever it does come out. So,
Callie, where can people find you?
So my handle is CaliXenon, Cali like California, and Xenon like the element. I am primarily on Twitch and Twitter, both with the same name, and I have an Instagram. Sometimes I remember to update it. It's usually clouds or food that I'm eating. So if you're into that kind of stuff, that's where you can find me, and I'm a variety streamer, so come hang out. Have a good time.
And I'm Pupunoob, P-U-P-N-O-B. You know where to find me. So yeah, this has been episode 153 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching, listening. We will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.